set now.
Giving y'all a minute to hop on, and I'm going to get on to our comments because I know there's going to be a bunch tonight.
Oh man, I feel like folks are finna wear their fingers out on those keyboards.
You know
So
Most people
we
think
got
they know St. Martin.
folks beginning to show up. Thanks for joining us, everybody. How's everybody's week?
it's Tuesday, so you know.
Let me check, make sure we can see everything in the old viewfinder there. Yes, we can. You see Sunny in the background there?
Good.
Sunny, come in here, girl.
She's the best part of our day, lives, etc.
Agreed.
So,
So, guys, welcome back. Hope everybody's having an excellent
Hun-
week, although
Hunter
it's only
said his
Tuesday.
was amazing. How was yours?
His
We already
week?
got a comment, Hunter. Amazing. How was yours? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only Tuesday, so it's been a pretty good week so far. I'm not beat down by life in the real world just yet. I
You have it pretty good. First world problems here, guys.
I have it more than pretty good if we're being real.
Yeah.
I have it real good.
Tonight we're talking about summer fishing and what you've experienced so far.
Okay, so the first thing, so last week we had a conversation, all of us, about what is the proper code or etiquette to site sharing, location sharing.
Man, did we stir some shiz up on
Mm,
TikTok.
yes, we did. But we also had something happen that
Hi, Brian.
I'm just curious feedback from other people. Have you had anything like this happen? Aaron and I are out the other day. It was Sunday, I suppose, and we get to this spot, and when we first launched, I had a very specific location that I was headed to. I'm talking about, I don't just mean area, I mean location. I'm talking about I'm going to one specific little gap in the mangrove trees on an island. I'm going to that gap. And you can't see that gap. It's sort of on the back side of the island as you're coming out. You can't see it until you round the tip of the island. And we pull up and bang, there's a friggin' boat sitting there on the gap, on the one little gap that I was headed to. And he was a charter captain, and he had clients. You could tell he had a family on the boat with him. Um, and I'm like, that's all right, that's cool. I think this whole island's probably juice. No big deal. Skip that little spot. And we were going to go past him, about maybe like 100 or 200 feet past him. And as we're passing him, I just being friendly and said to him as we're passing, I'm like, man, you're on a really good spot. I caught a bunch of fish there last weekend. And he just looks at me and he goes, when?
I was like, what are you where are you
And
going
I
with
was
this
like, last,
that day?
I was like, it was last weekend. He's like, was it Saturday or was it Sunday?
He was really trying to nail you down.
Man, I struggled for a minute. Couldn't remember. I'm like, oh, was it Friday? Was it Saturday? Or was it Sunday? I can't remember when we came. And finally, I was like, it was Saturday. It was Saturday. And he looked at me and goes, I was here all day on Saturday and I didn't see you anywhere. And I'm just like, okay, Cap, whatever. And so, whatever. We just kind of blew him off and kept going and got a little ways, 100, 200 feet past him. Stuck our old sand spikes in. Little Miss Priss over here just immediately starts hooking fish. I mean, two shrimp, two casts, two big old slot redfish for her.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Literally 10 minutes, and she had two big slot reds. Um, and she goes to that guy. She goes, "What's today?"
Well, I wanted to make sure he knew what day it was and that he saw me there, just so I could be validated that I actually caught
Yeah, I
fish.
got the feeling like since he hadn't seen us there before, we weren't welcome to be there in his spot. But
It's fine. People are funny.
second class citizens in them little plastic boats.
Yeah.
I get it.
By the way, if you follow us on TikTok, please do, by the way. Some of our stuff, we stir up controversy on purpose. Like, we're pretty.
Who would do that?
Just that's not actually who we are. We're just trying to get people to
Or
comment,
maybe
which
that
sounds
is who we actually are, and
maybe.
maybe this is just a
Yeah.
cleaned up, churched up version of who we are. This is the version you could take to meet your family or to church with you. Maybe.
I don't know.
So yeah, that was a thing. I'm just curious. Has anybody else ever had an experience like that? Let us know if you have. Uh, then the other thing Aaron was wanting to talk about summertime fishing because summertime fishing is different than other seasons. Things happen differently, and you gotta be prepared for that.
Yeah, it hits you really fast. You know it's coming and you think about it here and there and then bam, you call your local bait shop that you've become really close with the guy that runs it and he's like, "Dude, we don't have any live
It's like,
baits."
sorry, bro, sleep in, don't come. I got nothing for
And
you.
you're like, "Oh, here it is." You never know
We're
when
like,
it's going to.
oh, slap!
Yeah.
It's July. You can't have any more bait.
Wah, wah. And we have a big controversy going on TikTok about live bait versus artificial and how people think we are
I'm finna eat a whole bunch of crow on that
amateurs
deal.
because we like to not only I caught fish this weekend on artificial, but I prefer live shrimp. Who
I'm,
wouldn't?
it's, I'm 50 years old. I don't have the energy for doing this crap all day long. I want to go
Yeah,
and then wait
that's what I
and
like.
then yeah. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's the first snafu to summertime fishing down here in South Florida. That's it. When it gets hot, and
941 is on and he said it's his least favorite time to fish.
yeah,
Yeah.
he lives even south of us, so he
Yeah.
really feels what we're talking about now. So there's your first problem. And when we say bait, you can still get bait, but our preferred bait, because again we're lazy, we just like to catch fish. We like catching, not fishing. Our preferred bait is live shrimp. And in the summertime, I would like to know what are y'all's understanding of why when you go into a bait shop in the summertime they have very little shrimp, and the ones that they do have, hello, popcorn shrimp, pick them up, mix them with some cream cheese because you ain't doing squat else. There's little
I'm
tiny baits.
assuming it's the heat of the water temp.
So I've heard a few different theories, philosophies on it.
Brian said he's the same way with live shrimp.
Yeah, Brian, he feels it too. So number one, shrimpers are only allowed to catch shrimp, to drag their nets, to do their thing at night. They can't do it during daytime hours. This is my understanding. Never worked on a shrimp boat. Maybe I ought to. Maybe I'll get me some of them white rubber boots. Go work a shrimp boat for a minute.
You
Uh,
can't stay up past 9,
that's why I
so
said for a minute.
okay.
Um,
Derek says, "I'm here."
so okay, so they can only shrimp at night. They can't run during the daytime. So in the summertime, the days are super long, right? So they have an abbreviated amount of time that they're able to work, right? The nights are shorter. That's theory one. Theory two, shrimp migrate when the water gets hot, whatever. Dig down in the mud. I don't know. Let me know, guys. Teach me something here.
941 says, "As much as I don't like it, bait is the best bet to have success."
He's a guy that he likes to
Uh,
fish
yeah.
artificial.
Lures will work the first few hours. After that, switch to shrimp. Agree.
Right. So that's exact, and that brings us right into what I was going to say is the second challenge. And again, and really this stuff, guys, the people I'm really kind of gearing this conversation to are people who are maybe getting ready for a vacation to come down to Florida or to go to Texas coast or to go wherever and do a little fishing in the old salty water. Um, the other thing I want you to be prepared for when you fish in the summer, just like he just said in the morning, that early morning bite right now is key, guys. Right at sunup. That's when you're going to catch
Oh,
your
yeah.
fish.
Midday.
That's right. We call it the midday slump.
Yep.
And once it gets hot, you ain't catching nothing except maybe a mild heat stroke. You could catch one of those. Or if you catch buzz if you want to do that. That's about it. You're not going to catch fish during the heat of the day.
Hi, Gracie.
Then they will turn back on again late in the afternoon, just before dark and just after dark. So, you got that too. But once again, I can't stay up after 9 o'clock, so I'll never get that nighttime bite. So tough to get live shrimp,
Darlene says hello.
and know that you're going to be hitting it early in the morning, hitting it hard, and by the time you get to like noon or 1 o'clock, you might as well wrap it up because you ain't catching nothing from about 11 to 5 or 11 to
And
4.
chances are you're hot anyways, and you need to get some air conditioning and some rehydration.
Or a
So
lot of times
it's
that's
fine.
when we go to the sandbar, and we'll drag our kayaks up on the
Get in
sandbar.
the
We'll
water.
turn our music on and get in the water and just hang out for a couple hours. Uh, that's my favorite part of that deal. So
So here's my favorite thing that Will does. All of a sudden, he tells me he has to go to St. Pete to take his boat to the shop. And I have no idea that anything happened to his boat. And so, Will, what happened to your Hobie that you're having to have some warranty work done? And by warranty, do you mean warranty or do you mean it's going to cost us a lot of money?
so the reason I didn't tell Aaron about this was because, quite frankly, it's a source of stress for me. Uh, when it happened, we were on the water. We were on the water with another couple on a charter trip, and um, one of them, I can't remember who, one of them had caught a fish. I'm leaning over off the right side of my boat, the right side of my boat to
Derek, I'll
land the
get right to
fish.
you.
What's that?
I said, Derek, I'll get right
Oh,
back
I
to
got
you.
you. And as I'm leaning over to land that fish, I feel under my right leg, I just feel this very subtle little, kind of a little pop. And I was like, I know what that was.
Oh.
And I didn't even want to look because I instantly had heartburn. My stomach went sour instantly. My boat cracked. The hull
Oh.
cracked.
Oh.
This is catastrophic, guys. This is not a simple little something wrong with my boat. This is
Dang.
major. So if you can imagine, and I wanted to show you this stuff, but it's not the right place here to show you this right now. But here's what I want you to visualize. I'm sitting in this chair. My kayak seat is a lot like this chair. And it has two front legs, just like these. And where this right leg sits on the hull of the boat, it's got like a little, almost like a little, what I'm going to call like a little stirrup that this leg rests in to hold it in place. And right at that stirrup, it broke, and literally the leg of my chair went down in the hole. So this doesn't seem like a big deal, right? It's in the boat. It's above the water line. It's not down on the bottom or something. It's in the, I guess what we'd call in the cockpit. This is catastrophic, guys, because here's what that means. That means any bit of water that comes in the cockpit of my boat, which means anytime it rains, which, hello, we're in Florida in the summertime, rains every freaking day. Every time
Yep.
we go out, we get caught in a little rain right now, and it's all good. But that rain goes inside my boat.
A big wave.
If I take a wave over the bow and it comes in the cockpit, it goes inside the boat. This is this is bad. This is very very bad. And I didn't ever even tell Aaron that it happened. I didn't speak of it because I was stressed out, guys. It's a $6,000 kayak. All right. As far as a little plastic boat that you got to pedal, as far as that goes, that's like the stratosphere kind of price point. Um, and I was stressed about it. And I've had it for a couple years.
Brian says there are seat upgrade supports for that flaw. Of course, you would know. He knows everything about
Let
details.
me know about that, Bear Paul. Appreciate you. Um, Bear Paul is something else we're going to talk to you guys about on a probably sometime in the upcoming weeks. This dude does some cool crap. Um, but I've had the boat. I think it's a 22 model, 2022. This
Yeah.
is 25. They have a 3-year warranty.
Oh.
So I was freaking out because I can't buy another $6,000 kayak right now. What am I going to do? So I kept it all to myself. Yesterday, loaded her up in the morning. Had to go to Bradenton and St. Pete for some work stuff. So as long as I'm going to St. Pete, brought it with me. Swung by the old tackle shack there, and that's my
That
Hobie dealer. Weird tackle shack. They don't sell tackle. They sell kayaks and they sell scuba stuff.
And
Th-
they're awesome.
They are
They're
awesome.
our
Love those
friends.
guys. And I walk in, I tell him what's going on. Actually, he already knew. I was taking pictures of it the day it happened and texting them to the guys at the tackle shack saying, I got a problem. And they were like, get it in here on Monday and let's look. Uh, he sits down at the computer and he goes, you got 2 months of warranty left.
Oh,
Ooh.
dang.
If anybody watching has an extra pair of underwear I could borrow, I'd appreciate it because I can promise you I was wrecking mine for a couple of days on that deal.
Oh,
So at
damn.
the end of the day, I think we're gonna be okay. He put in a warranty request with Hobie, and we don't have a response from them. Hobie's really great. They take really good care of everybody in my experience, but it's a bit slow. It's sort of a slow process. So it may be weeks before I know anything, but I did want to let you guys know about it, and I want to share with you how that experience goes. So there
Yeah.
we go. You know,
In case you have a Hobie or you're looking to buy one,
that's
you'll
right.
know.
You need to know. I've had a great time with mine, and now it's failed. And let's see if they'll take care of us on it.
So, Derek, back to the shrimp. He said shrimp are more active at night. It's easier to keep the temp down to keep them alive. Also avoids bycatch as much as possible. Do you know what that means?
Bycatch, avoids bycatch. In other words, non-targeted species. So
Oh, okay.
other things that wind
Byproducts,
up.
things you don't want.
That's right, things
Gotcha.
that wound up in the net on accident.
And he said he spent 2 summers as a shrimp boat deckhand. Oh, so you work nights.
Hey Derek, you still got the boots, the old Seadrift ropers. You still got those things? If so, I bet they smell purty.
Shrimp kebabs, shrimp creole, shrimp and grits.
Uh huh.
Okay, that's enough.
Oh, the dog is attacking a
And
lizard.
Gracie said, "Hey from me and Bowser. That's my grandbaby cat. That's all I have so far."
And to be clear, it's all we want so far.
Brian said, "Get a 180," and then he said, "Oh no. In the meantime, invest in this." I
Oh,
don't
he's probably finding
the picture or something.
the thing, the upgrade.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, gotcha.
I do want to know about that.
Derek said, "Hell no, he doesn't still have the waiters
So
or
talk about
whatever."
Brian, guys. Let me tell you all about this. You need to check him out. He has a business called Bear Paw Boards. Uh, Brian is a Marine Corps veteran, long-term service kind of guy. Um, does a few different things, but Bear Paw Boards is his passion, and it's the coolest thing. This guy, he makes stuff in his garage out of wood, but he's an artist. He's not going to build you a house. He's not going to build you a homemade camper on a utility trailer. Nothing like that. He builds um, cornhole boards. He builds ashtrays. He built me a cocktail smoker. It's the coolest thing ever. I'd love to run in and grab it and show you real quick, but Erin gets mad when I walk away from the camera. So we'll
Yeah.
see if she allows it.
Well, no, I already said to Brian that we would do a thing with his
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll do the whole thing. But he builds some really cool stuff. His prices are ridiculous. He needs to bring them up. He's crazy working as cheap as he does. So if you want some of his stuff, you better hurry and get something before I talk
He's
him into raising his
he's
prices.
got a website, Bear BEAR like the animal, bearpawboards.com. And he has a really cool picture on there that I am like,
Yeah,
who did
Brian,
that?
who took that picture, man? That thing is insane.
So, okay. I just want to make a statement that when we were out on, was it Sunday? I always get my days mixed up. Whatever day this weekend that we were out fishing, just he and I had an inshore
Sunday.
Sunday. I had an inshore slam by 10:30.
Really? Hey, listen, I'm
That
gonna have to give her a damn T-shirt now.
I should be wearing that shirt because I earned that bad boy.
It was, yeah.
I have that in my notes so I didn't forget to tell everyone.
I thought I was like slaying because I got in the first like I don't know half hour we were there. I hooked up on like 5 snook. In the first half hour we were there, I was like, Today's the Will Show.
Ah, Brent Fuji is on. Uh,
Fuge!
Brent, I was just telling Will that I've seen you on our Facebook and that you guys need to say hello to
I
each
haven't
other.
talked to Fuge in
He
20
was a
years.
college, Derek and Fuge were both college friends.
Been at least 20 years. Fuge, hope you're doing great, brother. You need to hop a flight. Come
He
down here.
says, "Hey guys, so how is fishing in Florida different from Texas?"
Well, I mean, it's about a million times better, but no, it's not. It is 100% entirely different. Um, you know, Gulf Coast fishing in Texas, you're fishing primarily like in my experience, and to be clear, it's not like I have a whole lot of experience
Right.
Gulf Coast fishing in Texas, but I did do some. I did grow up in Texas, but I didn't grow up on the coast. Um, but the fishing that I've done down there was more like grasslands, razor grass, and all that stuff,
I feel like we went flounder fishing with.
and fishing in bayous. Yeah,
Okay.
for
Yes.
flounder and redfish and stuff like that. A lot of the species are the same. The redfish, the black drum, the spotted sea trout,
Mm.
the
They don't have snook, do they?
nope.
No.
And they don't really have tarpon. They get that occasional like wanderer tarpon that shows up. Uh, but down here, the biggest differences are our water's a lot more clear.
Yeah.
Texas, you get that the water is stained in most places, unless you get out offshore. All the inshore waters there are typically darker. Here, our inshore waters can be crystal clear and look like that pool or look like the Caribbean. Uh,
Oh, Ori's on.
hey,
Sorry,
what's
not.
going on, Ori? Ori, get down here to freaking Manatee County, Sarasota County. Let's do some of this.
Yeah.
Um, so our waters are more clear, but a lot of the species are still the same. Still the redfish, still the spotted sea trout, still the black drum. But now we're going to add to it snook. Snook's probably the most heavily targeted species in South Florida. And of course, the almighty, the tarpon. And then we also get to add things like pompano. I know there are some pompano along the beach in Texas. Here we'll find them along the beach. We'll find them in passes. You even find them occasionally inshore. We can find permit here. So a lot of different species, and quite frankly, it's just friggin' beautiful down here. That's why we came,
Yeah.
because it's awesome.
But we still love our we still love Texas and our Texas roots.
Oh yeah,
Don't worry.
oh 100%, still Texas.
Missouri that we spent 20 years in, we put that in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, beautiful
um,
place in the summertime,
Dookie Zone.
brutal place to be in the wintertime.
941 says I'm gonna have to come up there and earn one. The shirt, the in short. Yeah, you do.
Come on, boy, come get you one.
Darlene wants to know.
Ori doesn't know about that either. Ori, check it out, brother. We got some new shirts. It's the official Salt Yak Slam Club, Ori. Get up here, get a slam, earn a shirt. If you can't get one, you can't earn it, then you got to buy one. Then we call those sissy boys the ones that got to buy them.
Well, Brian said, or Darlene wants to know if she still qualifies for a shirt. We took Darlene out, and I mean, she fishes some with Brian, but
She's like, what's the hook look like?
she
Oh, I got a slam.
she's like, oh, I guess this her third fish, and we're like, you just got an inshore slam. That's amazing. So yeah.
So yeah, but the catch is you got to catch it when we have the shirts. There's no post dating.
Oh, mean. Let's see. Brent said, yes, I do follow you guys. Steve Bartell.
What's going on, Mr. Steven?
Ryan Murphy Designs makes both front and back seat plates for the Hobie PA 12 and 14. That's what I use, and so far, no issues.
I'm going to look that up, Steven. Thank you.
Okay, yep. Ori says, here at work, listening to Fish Talk.
Nice.
Brian said, snapper. Oh, when we were talking, yep, you're
and
right.
Snapper.
Yes.
Yep.
Brent said, I've introduced my oldest son to your videos since he loves fishing, and I told him how awesome you are. Miss you guys.
See, Brent, that's how far apart we've been. I don't even know you have children.
I do, because I know you. He doesn't have social media. All he has is YouTube and TikTok.
I don't do the Faceagram.
He doesn't. Yeah. So but I usually tell him, if his friends come up from college, I usually try to fill him in.
All right. So what else we got going here? So.
Well, hang on. We're still
for summertime fishing. We talked about challenges to live shrimp. We talked about timing challenges that you're going to catch fish early in the morning to sun up. You're going to catch fish late in the day at sundown. Forget the middle of the day. Go home, take a nap, go swimming, get a burger, do something else. Don't fish in the middle of the day. Will not be fruitful.
Okay, so
Inshore.
tell me your best scenario right now in the summer for moon phase, water temp, tide, etc.
All right.
What's your best case?
So moon. Quite frankly, I don't really know how to work around the moon. That's the simple truth. When it's a full moon phase and then fish are feeding all night, I don't know how to get around that. If one of y'all's got a solution for getting
Yeah,
around that,
please
please
help us.
feed me on that. In terms of water temperature and tide, that's simple. We want the coolest water possible, moving as much as possible. So we're trying to avoid the slack tide periods, right at the high or right at the low when it's slack and it ain't moving. We try to avoid that. You really can't. I mean, chances are you're going to be out there at that time, so you just make the best of it and wait for it to turn. Um, but then water temperature. This is so critical right now. We
So
really experienced some
critical.
of this last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you got to get it cold as possible. It's not cold, the least hot, we should say. And for that, personally, where we find the more favorable water temperatures, are you got to be close to the ocean. So what I mean by that is when we're fishing inshore and we're in the intercoastal waterway, or we're in Tampa Bay, or we're in Sarasota Bay, or whatever, um, we got to be close. So if we're in Tampa Bay, we go way to the back of Tampa Bay, back, on the Tampa side of it. We're doing terrible back there right now. We got to get out of the back of
Closer
the
to the
bay
big water.
and close to the passes, close to where there's that fresh ocean water feeding in through those passes, because that water is a little bit cooler. The spot where we fished on Sunday, a new spot for us, was so friggin' cool. Beautiful. The water was Caribbean. Caught a ton of fish. It was awesome. Um, and where we launched was right at a pass. I mean, we were launching into the pass. So the ocean, the Gulf
Very
of America is right
close.
there, or I guess it's just intercoastal waterways right over here.
Mm-hmm.
And as we first got started, and I'm watching on my graph, the water was like 83 degrees, and man, we were catching fish. Snook, 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 snapper, snapper, snapper. Girl over here catching a couple reds. I couldn't buy a redfish this weekend. Uh, and then as we moved, we're, we launch, we go across, we go over. There's a series of docks and mangroves, and that's where we're fishing. And as we began to work deeper into that bay area towards docks that were further and further and further towards the back, the bite stopped. And so
Too hot.
I was like, well, I guess it's just already getting into that sort of midday slump, But dadgum, it's only like 10 a.m. at this point. Like it's too early for the slump to be happening. And I look at my graph, water's damn near 89 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
When we were close to the ocean and the
Mm-hmm.
water was really moving, it was 83 point something. And when we got towards the back of that bay area, almost 89. And there were
Yeah.
fish there. We could see them. I could see them on the graph. And we saw fish. They wouldn't eat a thing. So then we backed out of there, got back closer to where we had started catching fish again.
Yeah. We
So,
had a charter on Friday, and where we went, um, the water was warmer, 87, I think you told me.
yeah.
And the fish, it was slow.
And there were so many fish there. We saw hundreds of snook. And
Yeah.
we'd see the schools of the little males, those little like 18 to 24-inch males, schools of them coming through. And you put a live shrimp in the middle of them, and they just cruise by it without spook and just didn't even care, but wouldn't eat it. And then we'd have that occasional big old fat female come through that's that, 30-inch, 30 to 34-inch kind of fish. And same, put it in front of her, put it, way out in front of her, right next to her, whatever, wouldn't eat it at all. So for water temp, got to get it as cool as possible. That's all we can tell
Yeah.
you. For spotted trout, uh,
They've been a little.
they've been tough.
And man, I bragged on TikTok that like trout were the easiest thing to catch, and I have struggled to close out my slams lately because the trout have been tough.
And the few trout that I found the other day when you got ahead of me, and I told you, sorry, I fell behind. I was so busy catching fish.
Yeah.
I found a hole that was like 8 to 10 feet deep.
And it was colder.
Instead of that 5 to
Yeah.
7
Oh,
where we
that's
were
interesting. They're
targeting.
deeper.
When I got into that like 10-foot area, that's where I found
Yeah.
the trout. And I think that's why, because the water's a
Probably.
little cooler when you get down to that 10-foot mark.
So 941, he says, I've found outgoing tide is a better bite down here. High tide, they have more places to go.
They'll get way deep in the mangroves in high tide.
Yep. Outgoing, you can post up where you know they have to go and catch them on the way out. And then he says, moving water and wind-blown areas. Wind-protected areas will get too hot. They can't breathe. That's true. The wind. Trout, deep water on the edge of a
I
grass
never really
flat,
thought
right.
about that. I mean,
But I didn't think about the wind.
We all know that cold water holds more oxygen than hot water does. And I never thought about the fact that as that temperature rises, the oxygen's dropping. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think about that in terms of your bait, bait in the live well, bait in your bucket. I'm always putting ice in there to keep that temperature down, to keep the oxygen up, to keep the bait healthy. But yeah.
Man, 941, he's got it going on. You'll probably teach us some things if you come down fishing.
He's a good fisherman.
Hunter posted waving. He may be waving goodbye. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one fish that you haven't caught yet that's like driving you crazy?
Well, so far this year, I have yet to go out and target tarpon.
I know. I want one this year too.
And quite frankly, the reason I haven't been targeting tarpon at all this year is we always fish together, and that's not a species that I'm particularly comfortable taking her to target. When I target tarpon, we're on a little bit bigger water that's moving pretty hard.
Gotcha.
And it's not easy in a kayak. I mean, it's just not. When you're in a boat with spot lock or an anchor, who cares, But in a kayak, it's a lot of work to target a tarpon in a kayak. So, kind of bugs me that I haven't caught. What's that?
Gracie said a sailfish would be cool.
Well, yeah. I don't think we're going to catch one of them
Well, if you want to go tarpon fishing, just say the word. I'll get on my paddle board and do something else.
You'll go shopping for the day? That's a joke.
That was sexist. No, I will be on my paddle board.
Oh, you're going to stay home and bake? Nope, she ain't. She's going to be on the water doing something.
Hunter said, I remember when you caught a bonefish by the 7 Mile Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't you too, Hunter? Didn't Hunter find a school of them? Because it was, okay.
No, he was catching yellow jacks.
Okay, the Keys, obviously, I don't even have to say this, but if you haven't been there, it's hot as hell. We love it. We love it, to be clear. But if you try to swim in any of the swimming pools at the resorts down there in the summertime, it's like getting in a dirty hot tub.
It feels like you're getting into a vat of sunscreen.
It is weird. Anyways, yeah, we were at 7 Mile in the kayaks.
Mm-hmm.
And because the water is so hot, you have to find those pockets of,
deep holes.
Those deep holes. So, and Hunter found one and was catching fish like crazy.
Yep.
And under 7 Mile Bridge, it's deep, and the water's moving.
It's moving from the Atlantic to the Gulf and back and forth and back and forth. And it's a lot in a kayak.
I think Derek's inviting you. He said, I'm your huckleberry for tarpon. So you need to go to Houston and catch you a tarpon with Derek.
He's saying he's going to come down here.
Oh.
They don't have tarpon up there.
Oh, sorry. Okay, cool.
Come on down. We'll chase a tarpon. I need somebody that would enjoy going out and doing that with me.
Yeah, a guy.
I mean, I know a few guys. Brian might could handle it. I don't know. Bruno might could handle it. I don't know.
Okay, well, I have, if you had one lure and one tide window to fish all summer, one lure would be
That's the easiest question I've ever heard in my entire life. You can tie half my brain behind my back and put a gag in my mouth, and I'm still going to scream at you, 3-inch paddle tail! 3-inch paddle tail!
Am I new
here? Yeah, what rock did you just crawl out from under? Do they make other lures?
I'm sorry, I'm slow. I must have hit my head earlier. When I read the question, I was like, he's going to make fun of me.
I thought I was going to branch out the other day. I was at the tackle shop, and And I don't know about like where you guys live, but here where I live,
The
all
hunter.
of a sudden all the talk is about everybody's talking about the damn spinnerbait. Uh, so I bought one. Actually, I made Aaron buy me one when we were at the tackle shop, and I was like, I'm gonna branch out. I'm gonna use a spinnerbait. Well, guess what? It's a 3-inch paddle tail with a spinner blade hanging off of it. So it's still the same thing. It just got a little
Little
flash with
sparkle
it.
to it.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically a bedazzled paddle tail.
Do y'all use okay, hang on. White oh, Hunter saw Sunny in the background. Yeah. Oh yeah, she's behind Will. Um 941 said 3-inch paddle tail for the win. And then Fuji said, do y'all use spoons?
So yes, we do use spoons some.
We did
Uh,
that at that last tournament that we were in.
we'll throw a small gold spin small gold spoon on grass flats for redfish and for trout. Uh, I really like to fish a spoon also in a pass. Um, like in particular, a couple places we like to go fish. I like to fish it's called Hurricane Pass, and it's just maybe an hour north of here. Uh, the town is called Dunedin. Excuse me. There's a state park called Holiday Island, and Holiday Island sits here, and then
Honeymoon
just
Island.
thank you, Honeymoon Island, and then just to the south of Honeymoon is Caladesi Island, and the pass between them is called Hurricane Pass. And Hurricane Pass is like somewhere around 15 to 20 feet deep in the middle of the pass. It's about maybe 200 or 300 yards wide, so it's not super wide, and the water pushes through there like insanity. And I like to pedal against the tide, so like if it's an incoming tide, I want to pedal
Out.
to the offshore side out as far as you know, as far as your little legs are gonna want to carry you pedaling against that
It is
tide.
tough
It's
there.
brutal. But once you get out there, maybe like a mile off the beach, 2 miles off the beach, uh, then just drift all the way back in the pass, which it will take you an hour or two to pedal out there and about 20 minutes to drift back.
Yeah.
Uh, but the whole drift back, I like to throw a big, like a, I don't know, it's probably a 1 to 2 ounce, like 5-inch long flutter spoon, and throw it out there and just jig that sucker, pop and just let it flutter, pop and let it flutter, and doing that I've caught uh,
Sharks.
kingfish, yeah, king mackerel, sharks, um, big jack crevalle, all kind of stuff in that pass. I mean, you have opportunities of some pelagic species in a kayak a mile from the beach, which is kind of a cool deal. I will tell you, a king mackerel on a kayak is it's an adrenaline rush. I've yet to land one. I probably hooked a dozen of them in the kayak, and it's so difficult to land one in there because they're so fast. And what happens is they take that initial run, and I got it. We're cool. Let's go. He's dragging me and all that. But then they always turn and they come back. And once they get under the kayak, you can't get the rod around fast enough and breaks the line. So every
Hmm.
single time.
Man, that redfish that I got on Sunday pulled so hard. Normally, we catch quite a bit of redfish and they're fun. They're probably my favorite. I love catching them because
Agreed.
they dive and they really take line. But this one, had I not been staked down, it was a little bit shallow area. He would have dragged me all through the intercoastal, and I mean, he swam out away from the dock that I hooked him under.
Hmm.
He was like
Yeah, he took off straight
trucking.
out in the middle of the bay.
Yeah. And then he turned around really sharp and then he started sailing as fast as he could under the dock. So I'm making a video of it, but it's pretty
She
cool.
got it all on video. It was
Yeah.
awesome. Speaking of that, if y'all picked up on, she said if she hadn't been staked uh,
Yes.
or spiked, I don't remember what she called it, one of those. Those of you who kayak fish, 941 in particular,
Yeah.
do you use a sand spike, a sand spear, a shallow water anchor, whatever you want to call it? For us, when we first started kayak fishing, we didn't use one. Um, we were probably more often than not, we were fishing a little bit deeper water in the first few years that we were kayak fishing. And then once we kind of moved into more, fishing the flats and the mangroves, um, we still weren't using a spear. We were still using a traditional anchor. Hey, you want to talk about a pain in the tail? When you're on a flat and that current's moving, that anchor will not grab, and it just
It
shoves
drove
you
me
around.
crazy.
And man, when we finally started using the spear, what a game
Yeah.
changer! What a game changer! Erin's, I bought her like a 8 foot long.
Yeah, mine's really long, so I can go in pretty deep water and be still.
It's kind of a pain. I watch her when she keeps it. She uses a Hobie Outback, and the Outback has a spot on each side where you can
Put paddles
put your paddle, and
attached.
just got the little like bungee cord hooks for them. So she's got her paddle on one side and her sand spear on the other. When you watch her, it's hilarious when she's taking that sand spear off, and it's 8 feet long.
Yeah.
And hers is a really nice one. It's the Stick It brand. So it's fiberglass and it's really small diameter, but super heavy and
Mhm.
8 feet long. So when you take that, and she'll have to get it behind her, and we just put ours. We have anchor trolleys on the side of our kayak, but I don't really like the sand spear in there because that
Yeah,
trolley
you're
stretches.
wobbling.
Yeah, exactly, wobbles. So I like to put it through the scupper hole in the back of the kayak, and hers being that heavy, when you drop it through the scupper hole, it stunk and it sticks, and you're stuck,
It
buddy.
actually, if you're in the middle of current and you stick it down in there and it sticks, your boat's like this for a
You feel like you're gonna
second.
dump
Yeah, I'm
over.
like, ooh.
Uh huh.
941 says 8 foot stick it in shallow
He's
water.
got the same one
Yep.
then. Yeah.
He said I also use it to push pull around shallow water.
Hmm.
Yeah, while standing.
Mine is not as nice. I bought mine several years ago. I think I bought mine when we still lived in Missouri, and I was taking a trip down to Alabama to fish for redfish down there, and I bought the Yak Attack brand
Yeah. So it
sand
was like
spear.
$200.
Yeah, yeah. It was more expensive than the stick it pole. It's only 6 feet long. So the reality is I can only anchor in 3.5, maybe 4 foot of water because, the thickness of the kayak plus the little foam at the top. And it's larger diameter than the stick it pole and not as heavy. So it's not near as effective. It still works. I get it done with it. But
941 says every once in a while I'll use an angle grinder and resharpen it for hard bottom.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So 742, we usually run about 40-45 minutes. You got any other
Are there?
things?
How about you guys? Is there one fish you haven't caught in a while
Yeah.
that's pissing you off?
Gracie wants a sailfish. I would love a sailfish, and
Well, listen, that's a different deal.
I would love to be like uh,
If we're gonna catch a sailfish,
taxied.
first we're probably gonna have to get on an airplane,
Well, I would
then on a
love to
boat.
be taxied out on a boat and then get in my kayak to catch one. I think that would be, and have safety, have them watching us.
So you're talking about a mothership.
Take me to your mothership.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you about that. I thought I really wanted to do that too. I was like, man, I gotta do a mothership deal with the kayak. I'm gonna get it out there. I want to get a big snapper and some grouper.
Until you went offshore.
Until last weekend when I took that big trip, and
Triple
man,
tail. Oh
yeah, triple tail, awesome.
yeah.
Who said that?
941.
Okay. Um, and after that trip, I don't think I want to do a
Because they
mothership
pull
trip.
so hard.
Man, so many times I hooked up on stuff that if I'd have been in a kayak,
It would flip you.
I'd have been in trouble.
Really?
Or I probably wouldn't have been in trouble, but I would have had zero chance of landing them. Because you got to have your drag a little bit loose in the kayak. Because
Yeah.
those really powerful fish, when they take off straight down, if your drag's locked down, you're going over. I don't care who you are. We were getting 28, 30-inch gag grouper, and I couldn't get the rod off the side of the boat,
Yeah.
off the gunnel of the boat. It's stuck there. If you're in a kayak in that position, so then you got to loosen your drag a bit, and all he's going to do is get in the rocks and break you off. So
Okay. Um, 941. Never caught triple tail. I have never caught a triple tail either. I think you have
I've
though.
caught a few,
Yeah.
not a lot, but a few. I caught a couple out of Dunedin.
I
Under the Black Pearl.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if it was me or you. I just remembered the pirate ship. So
Yeah, there was out there in the ICW there when we first moved to Florida. There was an old, looked like a pirate ship, anchored up out in the middle of the ICW there, and it's out there for a couple of years. It was abandoned, looked terrible, so we named it the Black Pearl. And I caught a couple of triple tail under the Black Pearl, and
Uh-huh.
I caught a couple another time off a crab pot buoy.
Huh? Brian said that I guess there's a company on the East Coast, Extreme Kayak Fishing East Coast, in Palm Beach.
Yeah, so that's like a tournament, right, Brian? Is that what you're talking
I
about?
think it's they are a taxi or whatever, mothership. But
Tell me again what it's called.
Extreme Kayak Fishing East Coast.
Oh, well, maybe I was thinking that was that tournament that they have out there each year
Yes,
for
sir. Oh, he said yes,
sailfish and
sir.
yeah, it's for sailfish and all the crazy
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Because there you can go a couple miles off the beach and have a real shot at all those kind of species. I wouldn't mind a sailfish in the kayak. That would be amazing because he's going to run that way
And
at
just
at
pull you
at,
like a
li- at
sleigh.
lightning speed. He's going to run that way as opposed to those big grouper and those big snapper. They go
I want to
straight
do
down.
the sailfish.
Yeah,
Pick me, pick me.
yeah. Brian, take her, brother.
You paddle out to your spot, no mothership. Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So, what else, guys? Somebody mentioned the triple tail. Somebody mentioned the sailfish. Any other fish that just seem to be ticking people off this year because you don't have one?
Tarpon for me.
I'm gonna just tell you, tarpon in a kayak is a real
Well,
thing.
I did get spooled by one a couple years ago, and it was terrifying. So, yeah.
Spooled her and broke her rod in half, and yeah. Mm.
Okie dokie.
Well, I'm gonna have one more beer, and then
We have to make dinner, y'all.
oh, I got potatoes in the oven.
Oh, that's the beeping I'm
There's
hearing.
be. I'll be back. Hang tight.
No, we got to wait. Let's close this down.
Hang on. Let's not burn the house down
Are
first.
you going to close this? So I don't know what you guys are having or if you even give a flying flip what we're having, but we're having these thin steaks I get at Sam's, potatoes that are burning in the oven right now, and broccoli. Oh, he's coming back. And we're eating late. It's okay.
Okay. Potatoes are definitely done,
I was hearing beeping and I was like, I wonder
and the
what that
house
is.
didn't burn down. They might be a
So,
little crunchy, but that's all right.
well, I think you need to wrap it up. These people
Guys, we
have
appreciate you
lives.
joining us tonight. Hope everybody has a great week. And remember, life really is short. We talk about it all the time, but it really is. Don't let it pass you by. Go do something to make your day great. We appreciate you. If you don't go,
You
you
don't
don't know,
know.
guys. See ya.